What's up everybody, my name is Dwight and welcome back to GeForce Garage. The last time that we had Josh Judy of Complete Mods on the show, he showed us his all-in-one build ahead of the curve. Today he brought in his prize-winning scratch build, Crystal. Well, welcome to GeForce Garage, Josh. Finally have you here in person.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
So what did you bring us today?
This is the Crystal PC.
I've never built an acrylic PC before, so how do you even start something like this?
This one was kind of a requested build. A friend of mine has a VR cafe. He needed something fancy for his front counter. And he said, I don't care what you build, it's just got to have a GPU, a CPU, and a lot of bling.
So how did you go about making it?
I started with a motherboard tray that's made out of C-channel aluminum. And then from there, I set a video card on it and built a frame around it, and it evolved into some bulkheads that just took shape around where it needed to clear.
So you just had a motherboard tray, put all the parts on, and that dictated the whole thing?
Yep.
Nice. So you mentioned earlier before we started filming that there was no CNC involved with this build.
There's absolutely nothing that was done in CNC or in software of any sort. I've got a drill press, a bandsaw, table saw, and a router lift table that allows you to make whatever shape you want just by using a guide.
So did you build the whole thing in like cardboard first?
I did try some cardboard mock-ups, but it didn't work out so great. It just kind of dictated itself as I went.
How did you go about actually lighting the thing? Because that's something that really catches your eye.
Acrylic tends to duct light on its own. As long as you can get a light into the edge of it, it'll carry to the other edge. So I edge lit it with some 3mm LED addressable strips that are hidden behind the black panels on the edges.
The other thing that really caught my eye was your cables that are in here. I used to do all of my own cables, so can you tell me about how you did yours?
I needed a copper wire because copper is part of the theme. So I had to buy some rolls of speaker wire and strip the silver half of it off and use the copper.
Nice. I noticed that even all the smaller cables are also speaker wire?
Yep, just a smaller gauge.
It's a great little touch.
Thank you.
And speaking of copper too, there seems to be some copper foiling, which I originally thought was just brass parts, but it's actually you.
Yep, that's copper shielding tape from tube type radios. Ham radio guys shield their equipment with that. I used it as an accent. I crumpled it up and stuck it on places to give it some texture.
So what would you say was the most difficult part about building this?
The plumbing was definitely a challenge. It has to route from various components all over the place, and it has to clear the skin and go to the pump, which is mounted behind the power supply.
And you only have the one radiator up top.
Yes, and that one radiator cools the entire system. The power supply fan was reversed so that it can draw air in the bottom and out the top.
So I think the only thing left to talk about is the actual specs of the PC. So what do you have in here?
Like I said, it was a glorified cash register, so it doesn't need a lot of power. So it has an ASRock B450 for budget purposes with just a Ryzen 5 and 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte M2 storage for space. The main design consideration is that it needed to drive a couple of large displays, so we went with a GeForce RTX 2070 Super and it fit the build perfectly.
Thanks Josh for coming in today. Glad we finally got to meet in person. Your scratch builds are always impressive to see. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button down below and I'll see you for the next one.